But we can hear. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Ad Hoc Senior Housing Committee meeting of February 5th, 2025. I'm going to share with you all that certain meetings normally held at municipal offices are being held remotely with adequate alternative means of public access and where required public participation provided in accordance with House Bill number 58 of the 193rd General Court, which extend the governor's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of open meeting law, Master General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 20 until March 31st, 2025. And our meetings are recorded and then posted onto FCAT, where you can enjoy them. So the meeting is called to order at 5:02. I will take a roll call. Members present. Carolyn Ness.
Yes, and I'm glad your voice is back, Lily. You're ripping off that thing that you gotta say every time.
Oh, no. Kathy Sylvester.
I'm here.
Excellent. And Lily Dwight, I am here. Hopefully Pam Predmore will join us. Our guests tonight, we have Tia Christensen and Jason Clark. All right. And Pam, I believe, will be joining us, but I'd like to get this show on the road. I would entertain any comments or motions about the minutes from January 15th.
I make a motion to approve them as written.
I wasn't here, so I'm not sure I can second
think
it.
As long as you read them, you can.
Okay, I second it then. Thank
Okay.
you.
I guess I could second it too, but all those in favor, Carolyn Ness,
Yes.
Kathy Sylvester,
Yes.
Lily Dwight, yes. Okay, and I guess you would note on that, Kathy, that Pam was not here.
Okay.
Okay. So our big conversation for the evening is to talk about the review committee, the committee, what do we call that? The proposal review committee, I guess is what it will be called. And initially what we were going to propose to the select board was two neighbors, a town admin representative, a builder, a member of the select board, and the senior housing committee. And I've spoken with everybody, and the big question is the neighbors, which we'll get to last because this other stuff is easy. Town admin representative, I spoke with Christopher Dunn, and he's game to have it either be him or the town planner, who I believe will be hired shortly, and they'll figure it out between them. Vern Harrington has agreed to be our builder, and Vern was the owner creator of Thayer Street Associates. So he's got a lot of experience. He's semi-retired right now. I think he works as the building inspector in Hadley too. But anyway, he has agreed to help us out. I spoke with Trevor, and he is interested in serving as the select board member, which will be great because through a lot of this, he will be the chair. So that'll be good.
So I can take away the question marks,
I
is that
think
right?
you can take away the question marks. These are what we're going to propose. You know, we'll bring the list of names and everything. And now for the concern. So the state ethics training that is actually number 6 that I want to remind everybody to be sure to do it, because we need to do it every 2 years. So if you didn't get a reminder from the state, you're probably good for another year. But they have made it so you used to be able to, skip through the slides, and if you answered the questions correctly, then you were fine. But now you can't skip through anything, and you have to sit through all the videos, which was really good, because one of the things that they said was abutters to projects have a conflict of interest. I tried calling whoever it is you call about the ethics thing. It was in the documentation, and they said that the person who is concerned that they may have a conflict of interest is the one who has to call the state agency. But what I would like to propose is because we clearly think it's really important to have the neighbor voices in this review process, I would like to propose that the two neighbors who have shown interest, which is Tia and Jason, I don't know if it's you or Melody, or maybe you all will take turns as representing your household, but that if you all would still join the committee as non-voting members, and that would be like with full participation. And although you can't vote per se, we could be sure to record your non-vote vote, so that your opinion would still be a part of what goes back to the select board in the final recommendation from the proposal review committee. And so with that, why don't we begin with Tia, since you were first in here first. How does that sound to you?
Yeah, I think that that's fine. I would like a clarification though, and about what a butter means, because the general definition is a property that is right next door. And then I think that there may be, in some municipalities, there might be a distance between the property line. And the property that I live on does not abut in terms of property here, property there.
Yeah.
So I think having a point of clarification on that, so that we can make either have further discussion or not.
Or
And
you
either
could put
way,
right
I'm
here.
happy to continue to be a part of the review process, but I'd like to know if there's a vote opportunity available.
Sure. My understanding in the training was that within 300 feet of the site is considered an abutter. However, if you would call, because they
Yeah.
will tell me, if you were to call the agency, and also as you serve on the ZBA, ask them about that as well, because
Yeah.
the developer will come to the ZBA. Now, my understanding from the conflict of interest is that you would not have a conflict of interest because you would personally experience no financial benefit or detriment as a member of the ZBA, but it wouldn't hurt to ask.
Absolutely. And I'm also an alternate. So there may be a little different nuance there, and I would excuse myself anyway, just to keep things clean. But what is the agency's name again that I should call?
It's the
Do you remember?
Ethics Commission.
Ethics
Okay.
Commission. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah. Is it like it's like a branch of the Attorney General's office, right?
Yes, yes. You just call the Attorney General's office, because what they have is they have lawyers there available to you. So all you have to do is you call and you say you have an ethics concern and you just like clarification, and they will send you to the right person. Because
Yeah,
it's like they
The
have
lawyer of the
they're
day
on
calls
duty.
Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
have
it's somebody on duty, and
I get a call
they
from, my
rotate.
name is blah, blah, I'm the lawyer of the day. I'm like, oh, congratulations.
Yeah, no, it's just, so what you want to make sure, Tia, is that if you start talking with someone and that you want to have another question answered or have the ability to call them back, make sure you get your name, the name of the lawyer that you talk to. And because their notes are shared,
Yeah.
but it doesn't, just in the normal course of business, it's not the same. You would probably want to talk to the same person unless you didn't feel comfortable with that person, like they didn't really, like, why are you calling me, kind of thing. I mean, if you're not happy, you can call back and you get somebody else the next day.
If
But
you do a different day, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but the thing is, you want to be able to talk to the same person as a follow-up. So that's my only, having talked to them over the years, they're excellent. You'll get the same answers from everybody. It's not, it's not like, oh, wait, I'll get a different answer. But it's important to have someone looking at their notes and follow up with, your questions to the same person.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you for that hint. I appreciate it. So yeah, I'll do that tomorrow.
Wonderful.
Okay.
And so regardless, even if you are considered to have a conflict of interest, you would want to serve even if you can't vote, but you can You can review all the documents, voice your opinion, have conversations, and have your
The-
opinion recorded.
I was just gonna say, the most important thing is just to have input, because you want, something because you live there is different than somebody like me looking at it and saying, and you would know that the bus comes through at X, time, and you want to make sure the contractors don't start until the bus is already picked up or something like that, something simple or complicated, whatever, but it's something because of you being in the neighborhood.
Wonderful.
Great.
Yes, Lily, Lily, that is absolutely correct.
Beautiful. All right, and now Jason, did you get the chance to read the email that I sent to Melody? And I just actually recapped it.
Yeah, I guess my question is when do you plan on starting to meet with this group?
So the process will be that we'll take the list of names to the select board. Presumably after tonight's meeting, I would be able to put that together, send it to the select board, and ask them if they want to meet with me about it, or whatever. So then the proposals, we won't get the proposals for about 2 more months, maybe even 3. I think the FERCog was recommending 60 to 90 days, and I have to see what the FERCog put in the RFP is going out to the greater world this week. And so I haven't seen the dates that they put in it yet, but I don't think we'll start before it's February, March, April. I think we'll start early April probably, or at the earliest. And what we could do before then is, once we get the select board to settle on what the committee is comprised of, who is in it, then what we can do is do maybe a doodle poll or something like that to figure out when is a good meeting time and all that kind of stuff for everybody. Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's some decent information, but I guess my next question is okay, if we find out that we can't be a vote on this committee, are there going to be replacements as well as us attending this committee?
No,
Or
no,
is
you
this
guys
just
would
going to be
be,
comprised of who you have?
it would
because
be,
my-
It was just gonna be us and the butters plus Fern
So you're
Harrington
right?
and Trevor and a
Yeah,
member of the town admin.
we weren't
How
proposing
many
any
total
additional
voting
people.
right now? How
Voting
many total voting?
would be 7, it looks like.
7. That's including us if we were to get on.
No,
Or not.
So there'll be 9 people on the committee if you Tia's already said that she would like to serve, so that's 8, and there'll be 9 if you or Melody want to join as well.
Okay,
And-
well, I guess what I'm going to get at is this: I mean, it's if the abutters, if it is deemed a conflict of interest and we're not allowed to be on it because of, let's say, 300 feet. I mean, I certainly would be happy to attend this. I've never had a problem voicing my opinions, but there should be, again, we're not the only ones in this neighborhood. And there's plenty of people along this stretch that are just outside of that 300 that would not be potentially a conflict of interest, that would actually have a vote on this. And that might be worth exploring, just so the neighborhood still has a vote on this.
Gotcha. That's a really good point. Do you have names?
I don't, because I'm just finding this out now, but I would highly think that, I mean, I would recommend that that'd be worth looking into, because this isn't just about our concerns, it's about everybody on the stretch. And this is going to come down to lighting, it's going to come down to traffic, it's going to come down to visual and everything else, and we're not the only ones here. So we're effectively, if we don't get on this, we're losing a vote based on the neighborhood itself.
Well, I mean, but you're not losing a voice, and that's what the voice, everybody's voice is what's really important.
Well, I mean, regardless if I'm on this or not, you're going to hear from me at the meetings. I mean, the voice is there. So, But it's just as far as voting on it, that's not one of those names lives within a quarter mile of this place. So
I think Vern Harrington does.
he's down, doesn't he live down near Wolfies or something?
He lives on Crestview.
Yeah, he's on
Crestview,
Crestview.
okay, so he's down that way, so that's not our neighborhood. I mean, that's, you know. So that's just my recommendation on it. Yes, I'd be happy to be on there with a voice, but I actually would highly recommend that 2 people would be still nominated to be on the committee with a voice that is on a stretch of property.
The,
So,
the only problem is that we've been told that we really should not have more than 9 people on the committee itself. So,
I mean, I'm happy if you send me that information. I'm happy to entertain a phone call to Boston. I highly doubt I'm going to get anywhere by the sounds of it, but I'd certainly entertain calling them. But that's what I'm saying.
So- yeah, I mean, you just go to mass.gov and you can see the information is there for the ethics.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah, that would be great because we
Okay.
we don't want the committee to be too huge, but we definitely want the voices from the neighborhood and yeah, the votes if possible. So because I guess I don't know, and I should talk to Sunderland because I don't know that the committee meetings are public. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but anyway, I just don't know if they're different than they.
No, this has to be a public meeting, Lily.
So it would be the same thing as what we're doing now. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, cool.
It would just be in person because, you know, you gotta look at plans and stuff and you really can't adequately look at that over Zoom. You know, it's just too awkward.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you want to make sure everybody is looking at the same exact little inch on the plan as everybody else. That's all.
Really good point. So
Well,
that,
All right. Well, I do know some people that would likely be interested, but like I said, I'm just, I'm going by what you're telling me right now. So,
okay. Yeah.
okay, I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So Jason, you're going to get in touch with the ethics folks and
Yes.
Tia will get in touch with the ethics folks. And so I guess well, let me ask you this, Jason. If the ethics folks say, no, because you are in a butter, you have a clear conflict of interest. Are you saying that you would not serve on the committee because you would rather see someone who's not in a butter and in the neighborhood on the committee?
Yes, I would like to see somebody actually have a vote on the committee, but the other part of it is, I mean, this is a public meeting, so I'm going to have my say one way or another.
That's true.
So you're going to hear from me one way or another. I'm not concerned about that part. You guys you've afforded me plenty of time to speak my mind. But I really believe that somebody should have a vote in this neighborhood because
Okay. So that's great. So I think then, the way I understand it, if you can find out
I'll make the phone call tomorrow.
that would be
And then
great.
I can,
If you want to
okay.
get the list to the select board. And can you put on your thinking cap? And Tia, you live there as well, about anybody who is more than 300 feet away who, just one other person, because if you're willing to be on the committee, you are first invited. So that would be great.
Yeah, and there's somebody else, and I think, to Jason's point, if there is somebody that can have a vote and we feel as a group that that's important for, democratic reasons, then, I'm okay continuing to contribute and stepping aside. So just know that I'm committed, and that if it is better for a well-rounded representation of the general neighborhood, then I'm open to that conversation too. I'll ask my neighbor down the way, would be well more than 300 feet.
I was gonna say further away, right?
Further away, closer to the four-way stop.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you both, and I will wait to hear from you. You all have my email, right? So wonderful. Okay, so then we will hang out. I guess what we can do, because there is a little time here, right? But we just want to get our ducks in a row. So
Well,
when,
the selectmen aren't gonna have another meeting, Lily, for 2 more weeks, official meeting. So you can
Right.
still be on the agenda in 2 weeks, and that's plenty of time to try to sort this out.
okay, I will, then my job will be to get us on the next select board meeting agenda with a list. And when we meet next week, hopefully we will have the finished list one way or another.
Yeah, because the next official select board meeting, I mean, they meet all the time if there's
Yeah.
necessary, but the next regular meeting is February 19th.
Okay. And our next meeting is February 12th, right?
Yeah, yes.
Cool. And and our meeting might only be about this committee thing, so that'll be, it'll be fast. Okay, well, thank you. So is everybody finished talking about the proposal review? Okay, cool. So on to agenda item number 6. Reminder to do your ethics training. If you were sent the thing, Tia, you probably got it anyway, didn't you? Because you're on the ZBA.
No, I didn't get anything about it. And it could be because I'm an alternate, maybe. But I'll,
Did
I'll
you
ask
do it-
Amy.
Did you do it last year? Because if you did it last year, it's good for 2 years.
No.
Oh,
There's a link, you can just ask, who's really nice is our town clerk is wicked nice, and you can just ask her to send you the link.
Right.
And actually, Jason, if you decide, or if it's decided that you can just, be on the committee by filing a acknowledgement of conflict, because that can happen too. Then you would need to take the ethics training as well, because you're now on an official committee. And you can get the ethics training link from Cassie.
Okay, thank you.
all right. So, that
So,
said,
can I just ask you, maybe because Carolyn might know this, I just got an email. Well, oh no, that one's old, but I got something about the ethics, but basically I just had to
Well,
sign something.
it could be also under Mass Achieve. It's, they're like, I'm on several state committees, so I have to do all kinds of training, regular training. So,
Mhm.
the required of all state employees, not just the ethics training. So it might come a little differently to me than to you, but it is under usually a Mass Achieve, or Cassie will send you the link direct if you ask her, our town clerk.
Well,
She's
I'm pretty
wicked-
sure I got it, but it just it just said, to sign something. I didn't have to do any training. Maybe because I did it last year or something.
yeah, if you,
Oh, yeah, if you do it, it's
last
good for
year
2
you're
years.
fine.
And you're
Yeah.
in the system for 2 years. It will start sending you automatic renewal notices. Once
Is
you
it the
get some-
conflict of interest law training?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, yeah, I did it in 2023. So
So you're good for
Yeah.
another.
good till
Yeah, it's-
June, basically, of this year.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
They'll start sending you notices pretty soon, because
okay.
you're
Don't
in the
let you
system.
forget.
Yeah, they don't let you forget.
Okay,
And they give you,
Okay.
they also tell you that you're gonna have consequences, but if you don't do it, but
consequences.
I don't know. I
All
don't
right.
think anyone's gonna knock on your door.
Pick me off the committees, okay.
No.
I know.
Oh, all right. Does anybody have any new business that it was not anticipated 48 hours ahead? I do, just a little bit. The select board is meeting about the MVP PL 655, which is
But no, PL 566.
566. There you go. Dyslexia kicks in. Which would actually be incredibly beneficial for a senior housing development, because we could use the parking, the pervious pavement that would be paid for. How about that for alliteration? For the developer. So it would make it more attractive to the developer because the paving would be covered, and the pervious nature of it would be used to capture the water from Bloody Brook and prevent flooding in downtown Deerfield. So I just wanted to mention that because the select board meeting is in about 30 minutes, and I'm going to attend that and make that point for senior housing. Just
Can you
want,
tell me again, because I'm doing the notes and I have no idea what I'm typing here. Select board
is
is
meeting,
meeting about PL 566, which I don't know what that is.
okay, it's a program that the MVP folk are aka Carolyn and company are working on getting funding to do it's a multi-phase project, but the beginning is to do hydrology and no, what is, there's two.
Well, there's two parts of it in the beginning here. We have an MVP grant for 176,000 doing the hydrology study that will give us the data to prove that there is a flooding risk. And they try to predict in a frequent event, frequent intense storm event like we did have in 2023, or in a major like hurricane, what would be the maximum amount of water that would be coming down off the mountain, coming in through the whole watershed. We also got them as part of the scope of work to look at the Bloody Brook watershed as well as the Blackstone watershed, which is Eastern Ave, Grave Street. There's two different separate ones. So the idea is look at the big picture. And this first part, we're trying to align up so that we don't lose momentum, is to take the data from the hydrology study, verify that there is a flooding risk, verify that people are at risk because nobody has flood insurance, including the town. And insurance has been really hard to get more and more, as Massachusetts actually is the 5th state on the list of states that is having this huge increase. It's a over 200% increase of non-renewals of homeowners insurance. But the problem is homeowners insurance doesn't cover flood damage anyway. And then it also doesn't cover the mold and mildew that grows in people's houses after it's gotten damped. So
Let's go back to the back to
I know, but what I'm saying is it's a huge risk for anybody along the Bloody Brook. So the idea is to participate in this big program that will do mitigation projects like replacing culverts so they have bigger capacity to move the water out. Continue the work that we've been doing on the Leary lot. We got the federal grant and the MVP grant to build the Leary lot. We have 1.2 million capacity of gallons under that lot for intense events. And then when we do the 1888 building, that parking lot would be X number of millions of gallons. What we're trying to do is do what Cambridge did.
Okay,
which
so
was
backing
very-
up, and when we do senior housing,
And
that
same
could be-
thing.
Yes, that's my.
Another holding tank. The idea is that you have capacity. Literally, it's a holding tank that will dissipate the water over a period of time instead of immediately. So the water goes into these holding tanks. And if we were like Cambridge, we could afford to just bury tanks all over. They bought 22 million gallon tanks and buried them in their flood prone area of their community. And that's basically what I've wanted to do for like
Okay.
over 10 years. And I just couldn't find somebody to pay for it. So now, when I was in Boston, went to this meeting in August and went to a seminar, and I found out about this program. It's through NRCS, Natural Resource and Conservation Service. I've worked with them on 3 almost $1 million projects over the last 20 years in town under the Emergency Watershed Protection Plan. I had never used PL 566. There's only one other project of PL 566 in Massachusetts, but nationwide, it's a very common program to use. So talking to the state engineer, we've been able to ascertain that he would be willing to work with us. project fix, but we have to send a letter, and this is what the selectmen's meeting is about, send a letter saying we would like you to look at us as an applicant to this program. This is not anything beyond just saying we want to be an applicant to the program. And they'll say, oh, yes, you have a flooding risk. There's potential for mitigation. They pay 100% all the way up to implementation, and then they pay 75%. And they work with everybody that's a stakeholder. So our developer would be one of the stakeholders along Bloody Brook. Jason, you actually would be a stakeholder along Bloody Brook if you wanted to do something at your house. And so say you wanted to do a drainage ditch around your house, and that would be, no, not a open ditch, but a
I'm
like
just
a
kidding. I'm just kidding.
So it's going to be available to all participants, including the town that live along Bloody Brook or the Blackstone watershed. So it's a little complicated, Kathy. I would just say that the select board wants to participate, is going to send a letter asking to participate in 566 if it's at all possible, and that it would be advantageous to our developer because part of their mitigation of and the parking lot would be one of the considerations, maybe, whatever. It would come up with the engineers, the design work, all of the proposals of projects, everything is going to be looked at. The parking lot is just one of the ideas, and it's mostly my idea, but it's you know, something that obviously I think would work. And that comes to mind because of Cambridge immediately to my mind, and Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where I go every March for our regional meetings. And that's what they did up there. I mean, it was just their whole Portsmouth, New Hampshire has been totally transformed downtown because of doing this stuff. And it is just it's such a role model, you know, and I've seen it over the years, the last 20 years going. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to do this in South Deerfield. So
Fantastic. Good
Yeah.
work, Carolyn. Thank you.
enhance everybody's value of their property versus nobody gets insurance, they can't get a mortgage, their prices are probably gonna collapse. So
Let's hope it
This
doesn't
is-
go that way. Yes.
Right.
Well,
this
all
is a
right.
mid,
So my intention is to go to that meeting, and I think public comment for the select board is usually in the opening moments. So I'm gonna just try and say that this could be very helpful for attracting developers for the senior housing project and help the downtown. So I just wanted to tell folks that I was gonna do that. All right, anybody else, anybody have anything else for new business? No? Public comment. Public, have we got any comment from you? No? All right, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I
I will make
make
that
a
motion,
to adjourn.
Carolyn.
I second it, Kathy.
Okay, I'll third it. All right, all those in favor, Carolyn Ness,
Yes.
Kathy Sylvester,
Yes.
Julie Dwight, yes, and we are adjourned at 5:35, and we will see you all next week, hopefully for a very short meeting. And thank you, Jason and Tia. Look forward to hearing from you.
Yes, thank you.
very
Thank you
much.
both for being willing to serve.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, good night.